Good day, everyone. It's Lady J here with yet another video. Okay, this one is going to be the very tail end of a series I just finished doing called on the topic of forgiveness. And so I wanted to do one last little touch, but then you never know when you're dealing with God, you may think it's the end, but it might be something else coming up. But anyway, so this one is going to be called Five Powerful Acts of Forgiveness. I started to put this together in the last video, and so what had happened, the light had came on and I thought I was out of time. So it's like, oh my God. So I'm going to go ahead and get that taken care of today. But anyway, um, one of the things that is motivating this particular video is I'm thinking about the youth. Because when I look at the youth today, it's like they're being trained to focus on everything outside of them as opposed to inside. And the things of God resonate with our spirit. And so, and our character, to shape our character and our morals and our standards so we can live a productive life. But today's society, the youth is being trained to do everything but that, to focus on the outside, their sexuality, who they want to be, man, woman, child, dog, whatever. They're being trained to focus on everything about that. They've also been trained to hate other nationalities. I don't like you, you this color, you walk funny, you said this, whatever. You also look at today's society, there's a lot of protesting going on. Something go wrong in society and everybody just want to just bum rush the streets and let's just, just attack and whatever, and that person is wrong without even knowing the situation. You can already see forgiveness is not involved in that at all. So these are just a few of the little things that I'm seeing, and I'm sure you're seeing them as well, that motivated me to want to talk about the act of forgiveness. And these are things, like I said, they come from the inside. We have to develop our character. We have to develop our a moral code that we live by and we function within. Because if not, then we will be trained to just focus on the things on the outside, being told what to think, where to go, who to like, what to eat, what you can't do. Take this, don't do that. You'll be focused on all of that, and it has absolutely nothing to do with who you are as a person on the inside. The beautiful person, the tenacious person, the adventurous person, whomever. The giving person, that person have to be smothered, because all of these other things are taking place on the outside that you're being told that they are a priority. They are a priority in your life, but it really isn't. So with that being said, let's go. Let's get into this. I don't want to make it too long because I could just anyway. We're going to start off with Jesus. I'm not sure if I start off with in the last one, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. What I want to speak about as far as forgiveness, this is in the book of Luke. You will notice that Jesus, when he was on the cross and he was being crucified, that was a very torturous way to die. So he was in a lot of pain, and he was there for a while too. But the thing that I had noticed is he had mentioned, he said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Okay, that's like the ultimate in forgiveness as far as I'm concerned, because you're sitting there torturing me, and everything that I'm doing, I am doing it for you, for your salvation. And you're sitting here doing this to me. But here's the thing that I want to make mention before I even get into all of the other ones. These people that I'm going to be speaking of, they're functioning on a higher level. They're functioning from a spiritual perspective. They're functioning from love and compassion and understanding, because without the understanding, those others, I mean, that's just, they will fall by the wayside if you don't really understand. So what I'm showing people now is that you can function on a higher level in society today, but it's going to have to come from the spirit. It's not going to come by what you see. It's going to have to come by the word of God. It's going to have to come by understanding through the stories that you read, the situations that you read, what you glean from them, and how people went through certain things and they were able to, come out like situations like this with forgiveness in their heart when they're in the midst of torture. I wanted to bring that point up because that happens to people all the time. People are, raped, shot, killed, beat up, all type of things that happen to a person physically. And it can be kind of also like, oh no, I'm not gonna forgive him. He hit me, he hurt me, he did that. But this is a good example right there for that situation. And I wanted to put that in here. So for people who are having a very hard time, it's like, no, you don't understand what they did to me, and how badly it happened to me. But you see, it happened to Jesus as well, and he was still able to forgive, because Jesus knew when he said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." Jesus knew his purpose. He knew why he was here. I'm here for you guys. I'm here for salvation for you. I'm here to represent my Father, to let you guys see him. I'm here to give you what he's given me to give you. Knowledge and wisdom and how to function in this world, and give you a whole new covenant to function within, which is grace. So that's why it was kind of easy for him to forgive, because he knew that he had a greater purpose than just the physical pain that he was going through. Another thing I like about the Jesus situation is he showed the importance of having a clean heart, because he mentioned, about forgiving before he passed away. So that just goes to show you how important God wanted that in that Bible for a reason, to show you that it's very important to have your heart clean before you leave up out of here. And he just wanted to let everybody know, in the word, yes, I am forgiving before I leave up out of here. He knew, his time was at an end. And these are little things that I glean that I want to bring forth, because like I said, there's generations that are coming up that are not familiar with God. They're not familiar with why they're even here. They're not familiar with even love or forgiveness, compassion, empathy. They're not, and not so much as from us, this happened to this group of people. No, I'm talking about from a pure place, loving purity, loving light. So this is one of the reasons why I make these particular videos. Okay, so that's Jesus. And like I said, make sure because we have no idea when we're going to leave up out of here. So that means you have to start working on making your heart pure and clean right now, so it can remain that way, because you never know when you're going to leave. You don't want to leave here with a lot of dirt and anger and bitterness and strife and murder. You don't want to have all of that, on you when you leave up out of here. Okay, so that's him. I also wanted to mention, which one I'm going to go to first? Jacob and Esau. I really like this one as well. This is found in the book of Genesis. Jacob and Esau were brothers, and you can read the story. I'm not going to go into all of the details, just basically what I need to speak on this particular topic. But anyway, so Jacob had tricked his brother into giving him his birthright. Esau was hungry. He was out, Esau was more of a field man. So he was outside, he was working or whatever, and he got hungry. And so the other brother had some food, and it's like, give me some. And he's like, well, give me your birthright. And he was like, what's a birth? What's that to me? Here, take it. He had no idea of the relevance of that, but he gave his birthright over. Long story short, when their father got ready to pass away, he, did a blessing over them. Anyway, when Esau really understood what the blessing was, he was upset with his brother. He was talking, he's out of here. I'm taking him out. So the mother sent the brother away. The point I'm making right here is Esau and his brother, years later, I don't know, 20 or so years later, they met up again. And I love it because it's said in the Bible. Now, Esau was the one that was wronged. But it said in the Bible that when Esau saw his brother again, he ran to him and he hugged him and he kissed him. I mean, he was just like so excited to see him, blah, 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 blah. He was not even thinking about what had happened. But you read the story, the brother was like, I don't know about all this, I'm scared type situation. But the point I'm making with Esau, he was so excited to see his brother and everything. And Esau at some point had to let go of that anger that he had for his brother. He had to learn to forgive not only his brother, but himself, because he probably came to the realization, I put myself in that situation. I was hungry. I didn't care about no birthright. I didn't know what it meant. And I handed it over to my brother. And, thinking he prospered. And actually, Jacob did prosper because of that. But Esau, he had a couple of pennies himself, because they said when he came to meet his brother, he had about 400 men with him. And that's not everybody he had. So he had a couple of dollars. But the point I'm making with that situation is I was really thinking about like women in that situation, and specifically, black women. You know, we're going through a time right now where a lot of women are waking up. A lot of women have decided that they're kind of through with the whole relationship thing. It's like there's so many other things I can be doing in life besides getting in these relationships, being broken, being destroyed, you know, getting nowhere in life. So you see a lot of that's taking place in society right now. And that's the reason why I wanted to mention that up under the Esau and Jacob situation. It's because now that you're walking away from things, it's time to forgive. It's time to forgive yourself. Because a lot of times we get in these situations, we come in with our heart, we come in with our dreams, we come in with our time, we come in with everything we have. Black women tend to be loyal when they're in relationships. Everyone knows that. They're very loyal and they're very dedicated to their relationships. We're talking about the real ones. We're not talking about the hoochies that the men seem to like. I'm talking about the real ones. They come in with family in mind. They come in with longevity in mind, and you get a hold to someone who you think have the same priorities and they really don't. And 5, 10 years later, 3 years later, whatever, you're walking away, and it's kind of hard because you're walking away from everything that you put into that. So I wanted to bring up that part to remind us, we have to forgive. In order to move forward, we have to forgive. Forgive yourself, because sometimes we go into situations, we might be hungry or whatever the situation. We go into these things. Forgive yourself. Forgive the person that has done bad things to you. Forgive your family. Forgive your mother and father for maybe not raising you properly, and you're running around and you're seeking love as opposed to anything else. You're seeking love and acceptance. And that's not what God put us on this planet to do. But because we come up dysfunctional, these are the things that are priority in our lives. And we're looking for people to hand it to us, to give it to us, love me, love me, love me. And they might be dysfunctional themselves. So I wanted to bring that up to let you see that even with him knowing that it was his fault, because he did hand over the birthright or whatever the case may be, he forgave himself at some point, and he forgave his brother because he was too excited to see his brother. So that's what we have to do. We have to let go of these things. Say, to your, I'm sorry. I went into it, wanting love, not even wanting love. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be, treasured, whatever the case may be. I went into that. Because of what had happened to me in life, forgive your parents, forgive whatever situation is. But remember, even though you are walking away and you're finding yourself, we're into self-love. You hear that a lot right now. Self-love, self-love. A part of self-love, the main part, is your spirituality. So make sure that you're also, taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, but make sure you're taking care of yourself spiritually. And that's another reason I make these videos. I make them not so complicated. I'm not worrying about sin, I'm not speaking about all of that. I'm speaking of internal spirituality, love and peace and kindness, and those beautiful esteemed gifts that God has given to us to function within in this life. So sisters, this is for you and myself as well. Love you. Okay, so now we're going to go to what's that? Matthew. There is Jesus is speaking to his disciples, and he's giving some scenarios about what the kingdom of heaven is like, and he's speaking of this king and the king's servant. This one has to do with money. That's another one we don't want to forgive. I loan you some money, you didn't give it back. Oh no, you giving it back. Okay, so here's the situation. The king, this particular king has his kingdom or whatever, and so now he's coming to collect some debts and everything. This particular servant don't have the money, and he's begging, please, oh please, 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 don't kill me, blah blah blah. So the king is moved in his heart. He's seeing how this man, okay, fine. See, so the king is like, you know what? Okay, fine, I will forgive you your debt. So okay, everything's fine. This particular guy who the king just forgave, he's like, you know what? I'm getting ready to go get some of this money. So he's going to the people that he's loaned money to. And the Bible speaks of this. He's beating some man. I guess, I gave you some money, you better give it back. So he's kicking a man butt or whatever. So it gets back to the king. That servant that you forgave, he's over there kicking somebody butt because they won't give him the money. So the king, he goes before the king, and the king why did you do, and just paraphrasing, why did you do that? Didn't I forgive you yours? Then you come in there begging and carrying on, and I forgave you your debt. Why didn't you learn from that? Why didn't you, forgive this person? And so, the guy, he got punished because of it. And so now he had to pay the money back. But the thing I love about that is, because a lot of us, this has happened to us. We've loaned people money, cars, whatever we've loaned, and we didn't get anything back. One of the, I have to find it, it's somewhere in the Bible. I don't know exactly where, but there's a scripture where God says, give expecting nothing in return. And I live by that because my mindset is this: I'm not going to give anything to anyone that I'm going to miss, where I got to come hunting you down for it. Whether it's if I give you $50 or something like that, I'm only going to give you 50, because if you don't give it back, I'm going to be good with it. I'm not going to give you 200,000 and then have to come hunting you down. That type of situation, because you have to understand the main thing of with God is He wants us to keep our hearts pure, so we can have we can hear from Him as well. But I love that particular one because it speaks of money, and that's a big thing in society. Money, 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 money. Everything is about money, 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 about mammon, and it's about that. So I wanted to put that in here about forgiveness. The king had forgave this man his debt. The man didn't forgive. His heart was impure. So he didn't even forgive the other guy, but it came back on him. So that's just to let us know that don't let money and things that you've give. I let her wear my sweater, she never gave it back. No, don't pop sweet. They make other sweaters. Just go buy another one, let her keep it. Just don't give her any more. We have to get to a point where our heart is so pure that if someone does something to us like that, we're not focusing all our attention on that. It's like, okay, well, fine, you can't get anything else, but I hope you enjoy that. You have to go because you need to keep your heart pure. So that's what I wanted to speak about as far as forgiveness. This king did forgive. So, Joseph. Okay, that's one of my favorites too. And so, this is getting a little bit longer. Whatever. So Joseph, we already know Joseph. He had brothers. His brothers were envious of him. This is found in the book of Genesis. I don't give scriptures and all of that because I want you to do the work. My mentality: do the work. If you really want to look that, because a lot of times pastors or whatever, they'll give you the scripture and blah blah blah. People don't care about all that stuff. But if they have to go and hunt it down themselves, it's going to mean something to them. Now they're going to read the story as opposed to you just hand feed. You can't just constantly hand feed people. So I'll give you an idea of what a book is. What a story is, what book it is. You go find the scriptures and look it up yourself if it matters to you. Okay, anyway, getting back to Joseph. Joseph was his father's favorite. Honestly, he was his father's favorite. And his brothers were jealous. They were envious of him because, Joseph was different from his brothers. His brothers were like, they, get in trouble and stuff like that. Joseph was the goody two-shoes, so to speak. And his father made him a special coat. Joseph used to have these dreams about, rulership. So when he told his family about his brothers, oh my God, they was really hating on him. But okay, so now the dreamer, they're thinking that he's better than they are, and that's not what Joseph. He was just excited. Now let me tell you about the dream or whatever. Long story short, so his father sent Joseph out one day to go find your brothers, give them some food or whatever he sent them out to do. The brothers see him coming, and they're look at that dreamer, they decided they was going to kill him. And so one of the brothers, Reuben's like, no, we can't kill him. But, there's a hole over there. Stick him in the hole, stick him down in the well somewhere in the hole, and, whatever. So when Reuben leaves, the brothers get him out the hole and decide, we're going to sell him to them people. So Joseph was sold, and he ended up in Egypt. And so, of course, he told the father's heartbroken and everything else. Years later, there's a famine in the land. And so the brothers go to Egypt to try to find food. They discover Joseph is there and blah, blah, blah. They see him. Joseph revealed himself to him. And so they were kind of scared. He's like, oh my God, he's in control. Now he can probably have us killed or whatever. And Joseph tried to calm him down, and he let them know. He said, but what you meant for evil, God meant for good. He said, because he sent me here. He used you guys to send me here because he knew this famine was coming, and he needed somebody to be able to feed, to work and whatever, to feed these people. And this is what Joseph's mission was. So he was just saying, you didn't send me here. God sent me here. But in a way they did, because you know what I'm saying? But that also shows you that God is fully aware of the things that we do. whether they're good or bad. He can also put that into a purpose as well. Joseph forgave his brothers. He could have been like, I never did anything to you. Why did you guys treat me this way? He wasn't even on that page. He had a very understanding mind, because he understood that God needed me to be the one to be in control of this famine, because he was going to send people from all around, but mostly you guys. If you guys had died, then the bloodline would have ended. So he had me to create a prosperity for you, generations to come, to reserve you guys for generations to come. So I love that, because a lot of us have family issues. You might be the rejected one in the family, so you have family issues and stuff like that. And a lot of people can't get beyond that. It stunts their growth, their movement in life. They struggle with self-esteem problems. They want love. All kinds of things come from being that rejected one in the family. That's one of the reasons why I want to put that particular story in here as well. I don't like to call them stories, but situations in here for people who struggle in their families, their family not liking them, and they have to be ostracized. They have to deal outside in the world alone, feeling, and a lot of times you're not really feeling lonely. You're just more feeling hurt and rejected. So I wanted to put that in here. Even though Joseph had went through the same thing, he let his brothers know, look, I had a greater purpose, So I was called to be away from you guys anyway, because I would not have been able to fulfill such a great purpose if I stayed in such a small environment. And that's another reason why a lot of people, sometimes you may have to leave your family and move on, because God have need of you someplace else. So at some point we have to learn to let go of the rejections. Don't see it as them doing it to you, but just seeing it as this is God moving you into where he needed you to be, because you on this planet for God. You're not here to be stuck in a family, or you're not even here to be married and all these other type of things. If that happens to you, yay, it's a blessing. But you have to understand, you're here for greater things. Your purpose might be over in Hawaii somewhere, and you stuck somewhere in some little, small town, someplace, I don't want to leave my family. I'm not going to leave till they love me. No, we have to learn to forgive and to let go, because you have greater things that you need to do, more people that you may need to feed. Okay, so I think, did I do Stephen? I don't know if I did Stephen. I think I did everybody else. Okay, let's do Stephen. One of the things I like about, I did do Stephen. Anyway, I don't even know which one. I think I did 3 or 4. But anyway, so here's the thing. Another point I want to make is one of them I missed, and I don't really want to go back over it again. Peter and had a conversation with Jesus. And he was asking Jesus, okay, so how many times do I have to forgive my brothers, because I can just see him, he had a little attitude. So why I got to keep forgiving? Jesus had told him, say, you know what, you forgive 70 times 7. And I love that, because he's not saying when you hit that number, then you can start back acting a fool. No, he's just saying you have to make this a habit until it becomes you become forgiveness. You want to keep forgiving and keep forgiving just everybody in every little situation, yourself and everything, because you want to become forgiveness. Because when you incorporate that into you, now God can use that to touch so many other lives. You're just walking around showing people and teaching people how to forgive, because it's who you are. So I'm gonna cut this off now, because it's getting a little bit longer than I thought. I think I said 5, but I think I did 4. Anyway, you get the point. The Bible is full of all different types of stories and situations that help us to function in this world, and with real-time things that we're going through too. That's why I mentioned these, because these are real-time things that people deal with on a daily basis that get them stuck in life. Some people can spend years being stuck on a situation, and if you picked up the Bible and read it and you saw that story, there was some situation that happened to me. I'm not even gonna go into it in my life, and I remember reading David's situation. It was like, whoa, but it was such healing to me, because it's like, wow, I hadn't even really thought of it from that perspective, and it was healing for me. But if I had not have read David's story, I would not have picked up on that, and God would not have been able to use that to heal me, and even to this day. But anyway, let me cut this short. Learn to forgive. Find a way to let things go, because if you don't, those things are going to, you're gonna continue to experience the effects of what comes with that. When you're in unforgiveness, you stuck in bitterness, and then there's tentacles involved in that. And all of these things that are happening to us or whatever, it has to do with what we're holding on to because we're on that vibration. So we really need to get back into the Word of God. Trust me, when people say things like, God is dead and the Bible's not, relevant today. Yes, it is. White Jesus. Jesus is a spirit. He's not white. Satan will throw anything your way to get your fingers to make sure they never pick up that book. That's all that's about. Any old thing was it was written by men. Well, yeah, there's a lot of books in the Bible in bookstores that are written by men from different locations. Anything to keep you from gaining what's in that word. And like I said, for me, it's not even so much as oh, thy holy God. It's more about learning about what's available to you and how to incorporate love and compassion and forgiveness, sacrifice. All this book is full of all different kind of beautiful gifts and esteemed gifts that God has given us to make our lives easier. And not only to that, but to be a benefit to society as well, people that you meet on a daily basis, because it's really what you do for other people a lot of times. That's where you're going to feel your most highest esteem, as opposed to just you trying to be, I want this, I want that. There is no esteem in getting all the things you want. It's more esteem and it's more good feelings when you give to other people. And these are gifts that you give away: forgiveness, love, compassion, sacrifice, time. These are things that you give away to other people that makes you feel good. But then, like I said, we have to remember these are things that we have to put in us to make us the best us that we can be. Okay, I'm going to end right there. That was beautiful. I did it in one take too. Sister getting good. Just saying. Um, everybody have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.